चेक टेस्ट चेक चेक टेस्ट हेलो चेक टेस्ट टेस्ट चेक टेस्ट चेक टेस्ट हेलो चेक टेस्ट टेस्ट चेक
कौन कौन वाला ये वाला वो वाला हाँ मतलब ये हाँ ये भी है। चलाइए पहले वाला चलिए ये वाला नहीं उसके बाद हाँ
टेस्ट चेक।
Good evening, everyone. I request everybody to please settle down. We're about to begin in next 5 minutes. Everyone, please standing behind, kindly take your seats. The first row is reserved for all the speakers and moderator and our guest of honor. The row behind is for all the delegates. Switch on. This is on. Okay. Good evening, everyone. A very, very warm welcome to all of you. On behalf of Architects and Interiors India, thank you so much for joining us today for an evening that promises to be exciting and enriching. I'm Shiraz Khan and I'll be your host for the evening. I'd like to begin by telling you a bit about this event. Architects and Interiors India's flagship property design debate is all about taking on contested topics in the field of architecture and design. A phenomenal initiative, Design Debate is a multi-city event where every month we head to an exciting new city. We've conducted over 29 editions so far and traveled across the country. And for our 30th edition, we have arrived in a city that was founded as an East India Company trading post and served as India's capital under the British Raj, Kolkata. So here we are introducing Design Debate's theme, Monumental Architecture versus Inclusive Architecture in a city known for its grand colonial architecture, art galleries, and cultural festivals, and is also home to Mother Teresa headquarters of the Missionaries of Charity founded by Mother Teresa. You will be hearing a lot more about the theme from everyone present here tonight, so I won't take up much of your time. We have a lot to celebrate here today as Some of the absolute brilliant names in the industry will soon be taking stage. So, welcome to this evening, replete with knowledge sharing, and let us have a huge round of applause for Architects and Interiors India's Design Debate, the Kolkata edition. So, before we begin the event, I'd like to also let you all know a little synopsis about the ITP Media Company, the ITP Media Group, and the event and the work that we do. So, can we please have the AV? Thank you so much, everyone. And now, to begin with the event, let me please call on stage Mr. Bibhor Srivastav, the Managing Director of ITP Media Group, the person who has built and created this forum to deliver the opening speech. Sir, can you please join me? Can we please have a huge round of applause?
Thank you and a very warm welcome. Great evening to be here in Calcutta. I'm not the one who's done it, so Shiraz, don't give me the credit. There is absolutely a brilliant team who's working as one tireless force to and cohesively together to create something which is very meaningful, credible, and neutral at the same time. I'm almost coming after a year, and I was talking to very respected gentlemen, their body of work, not only that we love the most, but truly make India pride. Blessed to have architect Mr. JP here. Very fondly, everybody calls him. Give him a hand. Thank you, sir. You are like a force to reckon with, a person, and for the industry at large, and people who are watching us live, and young and aspiring designers, take a leaf what Mr. JP has done, and I'm sure you guys will make incredible careers for yourself. The other gentleman, architect Kamal Periwal, please give him a hand. Another fine gentleman, great designer, great architect, and above all, what a wonderful friend. When we were thinking about design debate, and if you were to jog your memory, we said there's so much that exists in the market, so much of clutter within the design space. And as you designers, you find yourself in the spot, and media for us as well. We find ourselves in the so many media, all going for the design space. How do you navigate and how do you ensure that you are different, you are unique, and you are the one who are going to disseminate information and learning across the length and breadth of the country? The fundamentals is that you need to be credible, you need to be meaningful, and you need to be of purpose. And ladies and gentlemen, the 3-minute film that you saw, it has been an incredible journey for ITP and our success. What started with Hotelier India 2008 of July gave birth to 9 more titles. And what we really saw and we felt that the spectrum, look at this hotel, it's not just by the designer. You have a developer, you have an architect, you have an interior designer, you have an MEP, PMC, and name it, and everybody else. And he said, how can we bring all the stakeholders together? Because at the end of the day, the objective doesn't get diluted. The objective is to have a space which is happy for the inhabitant and which has a purpose. So I think we take a lot of pride whenever we create forums. We always think through and believe that whatever we bring, we remain at the helm of affairs for the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, we started design debate, and I've got this young gentleman, Indrajit Saoji. Indrajit, can you stand up for a minute? I have give him a big round of applause. These are the people, and he said, boss, 2 years back, there's so many design forums happening. What should we do? And how should we do? I say, and I told him, if you do another one like everybody else, you'll become another one and you will make no difference, no meaning. And he said, sir, I feel that we must create a debate, a dialogue, which allows people to collaborate, ideate, and come up with ideas. And that really gave birth to design debate. This is, I think, the 28th edition. Pardon me if I get my numbers wrong. वो कहते हैं ना कि the more the wine gets sold or the whiskey, it becomes better. So after doing 27 and 28, we have become better. And we've become better not by ourselves, because we kept our eyes and ears open. And in all of this, these incredible brands that you see on the left and the right played a very pivotal role, because they are the one who are listening to architects and designers more than us. And they're not listening in the top metros. They are virtually there with their solution and helping you designers to create that your project, your that residential house, your commercial, your hospitality, remarkable and more aspirational. When we started with something very close to my heart. We said tradition versus technology. Because if I jog my memory, I used to head a media company in technology. I said, how do we do this debate, the tradition versus technology? Then came the second year, we talked about aesthetics versus economics. Each of these topics had a string of communication and debate going all over the country. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring to you now another important topic, and I have to be honest, I'm not an authority to talk on that, monumental architectures versus inclusive architecture. And I was asking before coming because I didn't have the time to prepare. And I said, listen, I'm going to talk what I feel at this moment, and that's what I'm talking. So I asked Indrajit very nicely, can you educate me? He said, boss, there's nothing to educate. You've seen it all. So I think the whole purpose, monumental are iconic. We love all these iconic buildings. But today, the need of the hour, in every step and direction that you take, every project that you do, you need to bring that inclusivity. And that space must make this possible. But I'm not going to take any side. The architecture, monumental or inclusive architecture, this evening will unfold many, many other points. But ladies and gentlemen, I won't take much of your time. Thank you for this lovely evening. When you see a hall full to its capacity, and I love the city. I love, and who better than Calcutta in terms of hospitality? So I think it's always a great joy to come to this city. And I think you've given enough reasons for us to come again and again. Thank you for being such a lovely audience.
Thank you so much, sir, for that heartwarming speech. And moving forward, Architects and Interiors India's design debate has always aimed at presenting the most trusted and reputed brands in the field of architecture and interior design. And having said that, I present to you all one of the finest brands for wood finishes, ICA. Can we please have the AV?
Sì, le ha scelto proprio lui. Oddio, mi chiedo che ragione mi fa. Però forse non è così male, forse lei sa cosa mia figlia,
Yeah, Italian wood finishes. Good taste shows.
Thank you to the team of ICA for that wonderful AV. I would now like to invite Mr. Gaurav Jain, Regional Sales Manager East, to kindly come on stage and present further about the wide range of wood coatings and finishes by ICA. Can we please have you on stage? Thank you. You've given your presentation? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Good evening, everyone. So, on behalf of ICA Pidilite, I would like to welcome all the esteemed architects and designers. My name is Gaurav, and I look after the East region overall sales and marketing. So, all you know much better ICA, I think, for the past many years. So, I'm not going to take so much time on what ICA is doing right now, but we are more futuristic right now. And I just want to introduce you that what we are going to do and what we are seeing the world coming in our way. So in ICA Pidilite, our mantra is having the three pillars, that is innovate, elevate, and sustain. So designing tomorrow wood finishes today is something that we are looking for. So let's move forward that what we are thinking around it. So before going more into the depth of that three pillars, just a little brief introduction about the company. So it's a joint venture of ICA Italy and Pidilite. Pidilite is a company you must be knowing, very famous for the brands like Fevicol, Febiquick, Emsil, Steel Grip. So somewhere, everywhere in our world, in our home, we are surrounded by the products of Pidilite. So when ICA decided to come into India, so Pidilite has a joint shaked hand with them. And in 2016, that venture has started. So you must be knowing that ICA is a global leader in the wood finishes. And as it comes from Italy, and Italy, we all know when it comes in the mind, the design. So everything, be it chandelier, be it rugs, be it anything, any wooden sculpture, something, then always Italy comes in their mind. So that lineage is there with the ICA, and with the help of Pidilite marketing strength, I can proudly say that today we are available in more than 50 countries, and in India itself we are having more than 2000 plus dealers. So what are the four things that make ICA different from the brand which are also there in the same trade? So the very first thing is that forward thinking approach. So the innovation, the consistency, whatever the quality that you have been seeing, it is there not for the last few years, but for the decades have gone, and the company has maintained the same kind of innovation and the forward thinking. And the same thing that you must be knowing polyester, especially in the market of East. Many people say it with many names. Few people say it lamination, few say it polycoat. The polyester in India was introduced by ICA. So this is the company for which ICA is known for the popular brand R polyester. And the now all we know that sustainability is something which every company, every brand looks upon, and not only the brands and the consumer, but at the bigger stage, at the bigger level, government and all the global initiatives are toward the sustainability. So in that case, leading the water-based revolution in our finishes that we are looking up to, and continuous product elevation, like we are always committed to give the upgraded product, the added advantage, what we can add value to your requirements. So these are the things which we proudly say that ICA is pioneering in the innovations. So there are certain innovations that we have done in the recent past. So this is matte magic. So the matte, nowadays when I am visiting and I am meeting so many designers and architects, I can clearly see their inclination toward matte finishes. The gloss is also a set of customer, especially in the East, who are very inclined towards using gloss, but still that subtleness and the kind of inclination toward matte which is happening nowadays, it's just phenomenal. So we as a company understood it, and foreseeing the market trend, we have created a lot of big range for the matte finishes. And we introduced recently the super matte finish suitable for both clear as well as pigment surfaces. So right just behind of you, there is a kiosk of us. So we have tried to put in all our recent and the running finishes, which is available across country and across world also. I would request all of you to please go once our meeting is over, to just be on the kiosk and see whatever the requirements and the design finishes that we have there. And additionally, we have also unveiled high build PU matte finish. The high build PU is something which we can put in between PU and polyester. So what is the product? Gradually we will see, and also there is available in our kiosk. So there is a new product range that we have added, S matte. So how S matte is different? So once the finish you will touch like this, then you will feel a kind of softness, a kind of fluffiness into the substrate. So this is giving it a kind of differentiation among the normal product available in the market. So there are 3-4 features into it. It's anti-glare. Its gloss level is only 5, means the gloss level is 5%. And anti-fingerprint, and soft velvety touch, and soft healing, means to say that if someone small scratches are there because of nails and anything, it can be healed itself by just using a damp cloth from a warm water. There is another thing, Protecto, like I was saying, the high build PU finish. So we all know that polyester is a market which is there, and I think that in the coming years also the trend will be there. PU is also there, but there are certain set of customers who are looking the kind of polyester finish, but in the cost of almost PU, without having so much of the precision and without having so much of the post application work. For them, the Protecto is the new thing, and we have launched it into the matte and gloss both. So it has 3 times high build compared to the conventional PU, and it is scratch resistance, longer durability, and available in both matte and gloss. So again, I am saying this is the product which will fall somewhere between the gloss, the matte, the PU and the polyester. So then we have the acrylic coatings. Nowadays, we all see that there are long range of dyed veneers there in the market, and everywhere where we can see the dyed veneers are available other than the normal, the natural veneers. So the biggest complaint that normally we keep seeing that the veneer color is getting changed, or sometime even if the natural veneers that we have been using, then in this case of light color of veneers, it becomes yellowish. So what is the solution to that? So for that, we have the answer of our acrylic coating. And there are certain companies in Italy also and in India also who are recommending ICA on their brochure, that whenever you are using light color veneer or the dyed veneer, please go with the ICA range of product. So acrylic has the property that it does not get yellow, and especially formulated to safeguard colored veneers to delay the yellowingness and the fading. So as I was talking about the sustainability, so what we have to add into the sustain. So in response to the global trend towards greener and sustainable solution, ICA is proactively transitioning towards more eco-friendly solutions. So I'm just giving you certain data of the different part of the world, like still in India, how far we are and how far the other world has gone into the uses of water-based finishes. For example, if we see in Italy, Italy itself has 46% value contribution of water-based finishes. In Poland, it is 7% in 2011, but recently it has gone to 23%. UK from 2% to 21%. But when it comes to India, it is somewhere around 5%. So it means that sustainability is not only a concept now, it's a clear opportunity for us. Customer are looking the spaces, the solution where they get the renovation work without any fear of fumes and any sort of VOCs, which we call as volatile organic compounds. So when we use the water-based product on the site, be it renovation site or be it the new site, we can assure our customer that there will not be any fumes. It will be environment friendly, and even the applicators who will be using it, it will be safe for them also. And we suggest mostly Aquabella not only on the regular surfaces, but especially the parts like children room, patient room, and old senior citizens room. In those areas, at least in hospitals, the water base should must be used, and we should really encourage. And I can see, and I have visited so many of you, and I see that you are taking interest into the water base. And so I just want to ensure that we have the entire range of water based finishes ready with us. So if I repeat the main benefits of the water base, then as the first thing is that it is green certified. It has low VOC. VOC is volatile organic compound. The fume that we can see is also known as VOC. You must be knowing that. Stain and scratch resistant, anti-yellowing property. It has no harmful chemicals, higher coverage, higher elasticity, and because it has no fumes, so odor will not be there. So we call water-based finishes in our brand name as Aquabella. So it has a full home solution, and it is very good for the open pore finishes. So wherever the work that you want that the pore should be little bit like open, then the water base is the best option for that. So it has high grain clarity. It is also available in dead matte. Dead matte means gloss level will be only 2%. So 2%, 5%, 10%, 20%. So exact dead matte also you can achieve through water base. And preferred choice of consumers, it is because of all the features. And for the very, very premium range of veneers, from the very premium range of wooden lofts, where we can use the product nature wood and natural touch. These are the very premium finishes and made especially crafted, actually I'll use the word, for the people who are looking something very unique. And they don't have any budget constraints. They just want to make their substrate look very natural. So in the water base, these two products are our hero products. For closed pore finishes, in the same Aquabella, we have high build, excellent durability, multiple sheen level, like starting from gloss level of 2%, we can go up to very high gloss up to 90%, and specialty finish in the water-based 2K interior matte and high gloss. So as you can see in the picture, these are the areas which we always have some sort of difficulty in finding the right solution, especially in the parquet and deck. So we have the offering for that also. So it has a unique offering of special effects and stains. So the parquet area, deck area, where the maximum rubbings are happening, where the footfalls are very high. So we can recommend our parquet and deck for those kind of areas. And I would like to announce one more thing through this medium, that normally colors are the trend now. But I have heard that most of you are saying to me that colors we have only in the solvent base. So yes, now we have launched all the color, more than 2000 shade PU colors in water base also. And it has the same enhanced smooth finish with better aesthetics. And the hiding of the water based color is same as the regular solvent based PU. And it is safe for kids also. Because normally kids like, in the kids room, we use lot of color. So if we are using water based color, then it will be very helpful for their own health. And when it comes to exterior surfaces are now very increasing, and especially in the big resorts, hotels, and in some villas also, we can see so much exterior wooden works are there. So we have the full range to cover that place, and the quick turnaround time is due to easy sandability. It is brushable. The fungal growth, algae growth is very less. And we have certain products in the 1K exterior gloss and 1K exterior matte. So this is a place, and I believe that many of you must be knowing this place. So anyone, please raise their hand if they are identifying this place. It is in India. Yeah. Very true. It's our parliament, the newly made parliament, and very proudly we want to say you that entire wood finishes that you are seeing there is used by the ICA water-based products. So it is the not only the preferred choice of the top designers, but yes, our Indian government and our parliament also love the finishes of our water base. So with this, I would like to say thank you to you all, and thanks for being patient, for listening me. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gaurav, for that insightful presentation. And dwelling further in this evening, we are excited and thrilled to introduce to you all the guest of honor for this edition, who shall be addressing the gathering and sharing his expertise on art and culture and design and architecture. And we cannot thank him enough for adding value and gracing this event with his presence. But before that, I'd like to give a little bit of introduction about him. Graduated from MS University of Baroda in the year 1986 with 2 gold medals. He started his professional practice in 1988 under the banner Agrawal and Agrawal. Architect Monal Agarwal joined in 1990. Several of his projects are widely considered as the landmarks of Kolkata and has completed more than 800 projects across 12 states of India. His practice is largely committed to the environment and user-friendly design approach. In this endeavor, the firm has designed various platinum-rated and gold-rated green buildings. He was also awarded the Green Champions Award for designing the highest green floor space in the country by Indian Green Building Council, and was also honored with Better City, Better Life Award for his contribution in the field of architecture for Kolkata city. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge round of applause in welcoming our guest of honor for tonight, Architect J.P. Agrawal, Director and Principal Architect from Agrawal and Agrawal Associates. Sir, can we please have you on stage? Welcome to the show, sir. I request you to please address the evening with your kind words.
Hi, hello. Yeah, good evening, friends. It is indeed an honor to be here as a guest of honor of this event. And I thank ITP Media, IT Media Chief for this honor. Friends, since you have given me this position today in this event, I'd like to tell you something about my journey. as it was mentioned in my introduction, I passed out in 1986. So it is almost 38 years by now. When I went to the college architecture, just after 6 months, I felt that why am I taught architecture in the college? Why not on the field? And I felt something is missing. So I managed somehow to get a position of a kind of apprentice in an architect's office, Architect Rasikha in Baroda. So since second year of my college time, I used to work for 4 to 5 hours in an architecture college. Then when I was in fourth year, I got an opportunity to design a villa in Udaipur. And that was my first confidence building exercise. Then when I was in final year, I came across one more opportunity and I participated in one competition of the bank design that was in a kind of a small town called Jhalot. And fortunately, we won that competition. And before I could pass out my architecture, I had two assignments in my hand. Friends, although by 86, I had a 4.5 year of experience, office experience behind me. I genuinely felt that I must have more experience before I embark on my journey full-fledged architecture and architecture practice. So I prefer to join an office, Manoj Patel and Associates in Baroda, and I worked there for 2 years. The purpose of telling you this is that my friends, young architects over here, so many of you are here. It is very, very important and pertinent to have a very good work experience. So please do not hurry. Do not embark on your journey just after passing out. And be very selective on where you work and from where you get an exposure. Your initial learning is the foundation of your entire career. Secondly, I got an opportunity in Calcutta in 88, 89. And soon after, I had a big setback. In 1990, one incident happened in Calcutta, a building collapse. And at that time, I was having almost 12 high-rise projects in my hand, and all of them got scrapped in one go because there was a height restriction of 13.5 meter restricted in Calcutta for 2 years, and the builders were not ready to wait for 2 years. So building mainland China, which you see on Guru Sadai Road, that was supposed to be the high-rise apartment, and that got converted into the low-rise office building. So it is a big setback for any young architect who has designed a 12 high-rise buildings, and suddenly all your projects get scrapped. So I always remember this line, a lovely line of a song, "Ek raah ruk gayi, to aur khul gayi. मैं मुड़ा तो साथ साथ राह मुड़ गई." And the way it happens, you keep on getting a good opportunity. And soon after, I got an opportunity to design Club Town project. That was one of my first mass housing project. At that time, there used to be a standalone buildings only. The first project was launched by Ambuja Group, Mr. Harsh Nutia, on a EM bypass. And our Club Town was the second such project in Calcutta of that kind, with the kind of a community living and the club, etc. And thereafter, I had one more lucky break, and that was Infinity. The IT was, absolutely new to India. The first IT park was being built in Bangalore by Tata Group. And the second one was conceived by our then Chief Minister, Jyoti Babu. And Bikram Das Gupta, the IT entrepreneur, was assigned a task to construct the first IT park of Calcutta. Over here, again, it was a kind of a competition project. My entry was selected, and luckily, that was my first break. I was so passionate about that project, And that is what I would like to say, all of my friends, architects, friends over here, that never miss an opportunity. Give your best, sense the opportunity what you have. Whenever you get any project, find out what best three things you can do in this project, what these projects have to offer, and give your best. And the day will come, your work will be recognized for sure. Thereafter, once again, one more setback, 1998, that what you call that big economic recession, which brothers, Bayam brothers, or what would you call that? And over to there, we never realized that the kind of office expansion we had already done, and practically all projects had come to standstill. How to run the office, how to pay the salaries was a big question. वो time भी निकल गया. Almost 1.5 year we faced the recession. And, it just the way it happens in life that, you keep going and the destiny supports you if you keep hard. So friends, a lot happened in this period. We learned a lot when we are doing the Technopolis. That was the first green building of Calcutta. And I never heard of anything like this kind of a rating system. That was a USGBC. At that time, the IGBC was not there. So we learned how to do the green building, what the green building is all about. And suddenly a new perspective got added into architecture, the way we think about the architecture. So, today we realize that, how negligent we were about the environment, how less we were thinking about the environment at that time before that. And, there was no even pollution control board permission required for any size of a project. So gradually we are improving, we are moving forward. When I started in 86, I remember we had only 3 or 4 materials to do the building. That was either exposed concrete, either exposed brickwork, little bit of a wood to do inside, and nothing, the hardly anything you can apply outside. There were very limited tiles available. Today, the whole approach to architecture has changed only because of the variety of materials available. Just some time back, we saw the presentation, wonderful presentation about just the kind of a paint and polish finishes are available today. Only the thing I like to keep a remark for Pidilite that it is Italian wood finish. I wish it is Indian wood finish. So, we call it from tomorrow and we're proud that it is Indian wood finish. So what I say that the perspective of designing is changing on a daily basis. Friends, it is very important to keep learning, keep eyes open, keep going with the new things. And every day is like going for an exam and learning something new for that. So it is really wonderful talking to you, all of you. I'll not take further more time, and thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now like to invite Mr. Subhendu Ganguly, the Managing Director from LUK, and Mr. Vibhor Srivastav, Managing Director from ITP Media Group, to kindly come on stage and felicitate our dear, dear guest of honor, Architect J.P. Agrawal. Can we please have a huge round of applause for all of them? Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure to have you at this podium. Moving on, It is now time to discover the range of energy-efficient revolving doors and access gates by one of the leading manufacturers, Buni Dam. Can we please have the AV? Can we please have the sound? So, ladies and gentlemen, we are so sorry for the inconvenience. There was no sound in the video, but that was Buni Dam, one of our partners for this event. We would try to play this video again later in the event when the technical issue is solved. So, moving further, Design Debate, being a knowledge sharing platform, brings together the industry experts to involve in a panel discussion and gives them an opportunity to share their views and thoughts. And only an expert with profound knowledge and experience can precisely moderate these panel discussions. And we are fortunate to have one such personality amongst us tonight who shall conduct both the panel discussions for this edition. So, with over 30 years of experience, he is a prominent force in the architectural and real estate industry. He founded Maheshwari and Associates, which has established a strong presence in Mumbai, Kolkata, and Ahmedabad, demonstrating its commitment to crafting designs that deeply comprehend the needs of both individuals and communities. Boasting a team of 70 plus creative minds specializing in architecture, interior design, landscape, master planning, engineering, and more. He has successfully led the execution of over 300 projects in major cities across India. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge round of applause in welcoming our curator and moderator for tonight, architect Kamal Periwal, director and principal architect from Maheshwari and Associates. Yes, sir. Please, can we have you on stage? Welcome to the show, sir. I request you to kindly address the evening with your kind words.
Good evening, friends. Uh, I thank you, ITP Media, for asking me to curate this event. And this is my second year. And I try to take out some good knowledge or some good information from my panelists as well as from the audience here. And this is a very interesting topic about the monumental architecture and inclusive architecture. So wait for the panel to start discussion. Just thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir, for extending your support for our event. I request you to kindly stay back on stage for felicitation. I now request Mr. Indrajit Sauji, Group Publishing Director from ITP Media Group, and Mr. Viresh Malhan, Chief of Sales from ICA, to kindly come on stage and felicitate our dear curator for the evening. Can we please have a huge round of applause for all of them? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And as we move ahead, we would like you all to know about a leading brand offering high performance aluminum facade systems, LUK. Can we please have the AV for LUK? Thank you so much to the team of LUK for that very interesting AV. And now I'd like to invite Mr. Subhendu Ganguly, Managing Director from LUK, to kindly come on stage and present further about the exclusive aluminum windows, doors, and facades by LUK. Thank you. Yes.
Eminent architects, industry experts, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I welcome you all to this very enriched discussion of monumental versus inclusive architecture this evening. I am from LUK. LUK is one of the leading aluminum building systems brand in the world. We are present in India for last 10 years with several projects running all over India and SAARC, for which we are responsible for the Indian operations. Aluminium, when we talk about aluminium, it's so relevant in the debate of monumental versus inclusive, because whether it is monumental, whether it is tall tower, or it's an inclusive structure, aluminium is everywhere. Because aluminium is a metal that is sustainable. Aluminium is one of the most environment-friendly material that you can think of when you make windows. Think of windows. Today, we will talk about some relevant topics. But let me say a few words in Bengali. I am from Kolkata, and I have a long association with the industry in building systems. And let me tell you, when you talk about aluminum building system, the idea of the first aluminum building system was born in Calcutta by a company called Indian Aluminium. And many of you here, I can see a lot of veterans here, the industry experts, through whom the journey of aluminum in doors and windows have progressed a lot in last 25 years. And the thought was born in Calcutta by one gentleman called Mr. Tapan Mitro. He was the ex-managing director of Indian Aluminium as well as the ex-chairman of Huldia Petrochemicals. He thought about bringing first building systems in India from Europe. And in a way, Indian Aluminium was synonymous to good aluminium products. Many of you know. They were the first producer of aluminium building systems in India in 1938 that rolled out from the Belud rolling mills. So there is a first, I mean, what we know that what Bengal thinks today, India thinks tomorrow. Yes, in this case, yes, it was true. So it was born in Calcutta. So I'm so proud to be associated with this. And today, roughly 1/5 of the total extrusion, aluminum extrusion that goes in the building industry are going through the system route. But still, fourth-fifth of the materials are still locked in the traditional extrusion-based windows and doors. And we know we have experiences, different type of experiences with aluminum doors and windows. Sometimes it creaks, sometimes it leaks, sometimes it flies when you have a amphan and funny. Okay. So therefore, I will talk about relevant topics more than our products as such, because products we have a small stand here. We can talk about it a lot, but today I will talk about something very relevant, which will enable you to think deeply about aluminum and then aluminum in system for doors and windows. But before that, let me introduce my company. So we are Alucare. So talking a bit about Alucare, we are basically an European company present in the mainlands of all the European countries. We are in USA. We are also, for 20 years, we are present in China, Middle East, and also India is a 10 years old operations. More or less, we have more than 800 collaborators. We are headquartered in Luxembourg. But we are also a part of a large family managed and family owned business called Valfidas, which is roughly about a size of 1 billion euro. And they are in multiple business. And aluminum building system is one of that. So in India, Alucare is one of the fastest growing company. And as you see in the map, we are everywhere, starting from Jammu till Kanyakumari and Valsad to Assam. We have 25 aluminum home, Alucare home, what we call, it's an experience center that is coming up. And in the city, very soon in Calcutta, you will have one such thing coming up in city center. I'll talk about it. So this experience center enables people to see and choose their products for their home. Now coming to the relevant topic, why aluminum? And I will talk about two important relevant applications of aluminum and properties of aluminum. There are many, but the most important is aluminum is sustainable because it lives on for a sustainable future, a green future, something that goes from cradle to cradle, something that never goes into the landfill and the grave. What you use today as aluminum in windows, the life cycle of the product is more than sometimes the life cycle of the building. At the end of life cycle of the building, aluminum can be remelted and maybe you can get an aluminum foil from that, or maybe a pharmaceutical foil, maybe a building sheet, maybe a Pepsi can. It can come in any form. And that's the beauty of aluminum. It never dies. And that's real sustainability, because you can produce remelted aluminum using only 5% of the energy that you need to produce virgin metal, which is incredible. The discussion, when I go abroad with my businesses and I see the discussion across the table today, that how much carbon neutrality an aluminum window can bring when I do a project. We are far away from that discussion, but there is a time carbon neutrality will pick up, and we have our targets as a country for that. So aluminum will play a major role because 75% of the aluminum that is ever produced in the world is still in the effective use. The most important property of aluminum, as far as you gentlemen are concerned that architects, you deal with style. There is sometimes the architects and engineers are not good friends because architects dream a lot, and the responsibility of people like us, engineers, we try to fulfill their dream, your dream, by providing different shapes. You talk about minimalistic architecture, the challenge is to withstand the weather. So we design the product to fulfill your dream. And we can do that best when we deal with aluminum. Aluminum is sympathetic because it adds very minimum weight to your foundation. The very high strength to weight ratio as a metal. And it is stylish because you can get any color and texture. Gentlemen, you recognize that color and texture is a very important element for luxury. When we choose anything for interior, the first thing that comes to our notice is color. So in aluminum, you have a rainbow of opportunity and texture, and it is getting advanced day by day, which is sometimes difficult in other materials. And it comes with sometimes 25 years of warranty in terms of the longevity of the life of the color and texture. Why system? This is important. First is why aluminum. I spoke about aluminum. Now, why system? Look at the picture, gentlemen. Here, do you see a good picture? You have aluminum profile produced by an extruders who are interested in selling tons. They are not thinking about the window that will go to your home. They are making extrusion as a commodity. And once the extrusion is out of the factory, it is gone. Then it is gone for facades, it is gone for windows. And who does the technology? Who does the technology for assembling it? From where the fittings come? Fittings can come from Chandni Chowk or some other markets. And the fitting supplier is not designing the accessory compatible with the profiles that is produced by some extruder. And then similarly with the gasket. So therefore you get a distorted picture, and that's why many conventional windows, we have the experience of leaking, creaking, and rattling with aluminum windows because there is no compatibility in the design element, the lack of focus of the end product, no proper tools and technology or machines to combine them, no reference standards. You will hardly hear any standard product like that. We'll talk about a EN standard or a ASTM standard. Very recently, Indian Standard Institute, they have come out with a IS code, the first time in India that talks about water tightness in aluminum window. A standard about water tightness, but generally we follow EN and ASTM standard in India. But in case of non-system window, there is no question of test because there is no reference. So what happens in system? There are four aspects to the system: technology, aesthetics, assurance, and performance. Obviously, technology means you have engineering, design, and tolerances, standards, specification, quality procedures, and so many things, the machines. And then, of course, aesthetics is your topic. You give us challenge in terms of architecture, look, style, trends, and then performance. As I spoke about performance, about the weather performance, air, water, and wind performance. You have to ensure that the window doesn't fly when there is an amphan, or window doesn't leak. It can stand on the 60th floor or 70th floor of a building without any leakage when there is a storm like that. And then, of course, someone should guarantee the life. It should come with the relevant usability and the warranty. And that is the job of a system company. So in a system window, you see a proper picture because everything fits with other. An aluminum profile that is designed for the performance. Fittings are designed compatible with the aluminum profile. Similarly, accessories and gasket, you have a complete picture with no gaps seen in the picture. So all elements are designed by one entity. Focus is on the end product. We never release a product before it goes to the testing, rigorous testing on performance. Every product is certified before it is launched. So specified tools, machines, combined all the elements. There is an engineering standard. And we can say, for example, the window can withstand 3 kPa and 300 Pascal or 450 Pascal water and air. You know, the beauty is that when we do a project of 60-story or 70-story, in the ultimate floors, sometimes the wind load could be, the design wind load could be 3.754 kPa. Okay, and the proof load could be 1.5 times of that. So imagine a structure. Who else other than aluminum can do this? Do you see any curtain wall or a glazing made of any other material? But for aluminum, there is no other choice in terms of very limited choice. I will say 90% of the buildings are made with aluminum structures because of the property that it offers. Now I'll show you how even a drainage of a aluminum profile is taken care. We do this level of design and concepting before we launch a system. So that shows how the profile is designed in order to accumulate and drain out water from the profiles. So just few myths that goes on in the market for aluminum. And I want to clear that myth. That is that it is not as versatile as steel. In fact, I would say steel is not a metal, it's an alloy. But aluminum is a metal. But jokes apart and jargons apart, obviously, steel is not used in Tesla. Tesla uses aluminum. Your aerospace use aluminum. Aluminum is sophisticated because, as I said, it is sympathetic and it is extremely versatile. You get your food wrapped in aluminum foil, your life-saving drugs comes in aluminum foil, as well as the building windows goes with aluminum extrusion. Aluminum product pose as a health hazard. Absolutely wrong. Otherwise, your food can never be wrapped with aluminum foil. Thicker the better. Many people ask me, what is the gauge of your profile? Now we are engineers. We don't measure the structural property of any section by thickness. We measure it by the inertia moment, sectional modulus. So when we talk about engineers' language, we defeat the argument, which is an extruder's argument, because they sell tons. Thicker the better, thicker the heavier is true, but thicker the better, not true, because you can have a design. That's why experts design sections. We can give different shapes to aluminum. That's the beauty of aluminum. That's the versatility. So some of our inspirations are, Aluke Home, as I said, is coming up. And one of our esteemed partner, Nitsan and Amitsu, they are our partner. It is coming out in City Center 1. It will be launched sometimes end of July. So I would like to welcome all of you. And we have 25 such Aluke homes coming up all over India. Some of our projects, just to show you the typical different type of systems that we offer. This is Atlantis in China, and it is a second like what you have in Dubai. Address Hotel in Dubai. This is Clear Point. We are the market leaders in Colombo. We have several tall towers. In fact, we are a specialist of tall towers. We have several such tall towers in our portfolio. This is also in Colombo. This is a facade which was seismically tested with a seismic load and wind load. This is a recently completed project in Mumbai, Vikas Palazzo. This is in Kolkata. By the way, the inner skin of the dome in Eco Park is made by Aluke. It was a very challenging task. As you see, every element is different. So every element has to be drawn in a CAD before we could produce them. This is also next to Tolly Club. We have RSA's signature 30+ story building. Ovidipta, it is just about completed. One of the tall tower for the HIG and one of the MIG tower, both the two towers are done by us. Again, rigorously tested for wind load. It was tested at 3 kPa wind load, good for Calcutta weather, sometimes in extreme conditions. Orbit Victoria and Shakespeare Sharoni. This is a project in Bhubaneswar. Taj Vivanta in Bhubaneswar. Trident Gurgaon. And Bangalore International Airport, first phase, the glazing, the facade is done by Aluke. This is Makers Max City in Mumbai, BKC. ITC Royal Gardenia, it's a green building, platinum rated building. And most of the ITC hotels are like that. We also supplied the entire windows for that. Thank you. Thank you for your patient hearing.
Thank you so much, Mr. Subendu, for that amazing presentation. And before we move further, I would like the team to please play the AV for Buni Dam that we could not hear earlier. Can we please have the AV?
Bienvenue. Bienvenido. Welcome. Welcome to the first moment you enter. The first steps, taking you into a new experience. A journey which begins with us. With us, you're in safe hands, inside and out. And inside, your day starts. Your work, a protected space, or just a moment with your friends. Come in, because doors and avenues will open for you. Ours and our security solutions. And our security solutions ensure that what lies on the other side is safe. We may be just a small part of a large building, but we create a grand first impression. Together, we welcome you into the world's most inspirational buildings, from the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam to the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. And for the design, we craft a contemporary masterpiece, expertly produced to all that a building deserves, holding service in our hearts and dedication to our people. We go beyond what is expected. That is our passion. For more than 140 years, we've ensured people feel welcome and secure. We are Boon Edam, your entry experts.
That was Buni Dam. Thank you so much to the team of Buni Dam for a very, very interesting AV. We are glad to partner with y'all. And now we move on to the most awaited part of the evening, the panel discussion. We would like to begin with the dynamic Doyens panel, the stalwarts of the design industry. And to begin this session, I would like to invite and welcome back on stage our curator and moderator for the evening, architect Kamal Periwal, who's going to conduct both the panel discussions. Welcome to the show, sir, and welcome back on stage for the panel discussion. We are going to begin shortly. Have you checked the mic, sir? You checked the mic? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Friends, the topic is very well aware of. We are like monumental architecture and inclusivity architecture. Here, we'll start with the Doyen's panel, like all the experienced architect, what they think, what they are working on, and we'll try to take out some information from our experienced panelists. Apart from this, I have something in mind because these people are tomorrow sitting in some forum with the government to make the policies. So here also I'll ask some questions where what they think about the policies for the further development in the city or the architecture, how the crisis they can come out of it. So that is my agenda in the discussion that I'll definitely try to take out from our experienced panelists. So now I invite Sukanya Dasgupta. Architect Sukanya Dasgupta, Principal Architect of Sukanya and Associate. Sukanya and Associate is an award-winning architectural and engineering consultancy office. Sukanya and Associate has been awarded the World Architecture Award WA UK for the Sky Villa project in Dhaka in 2018. Multiple award winner architect Sukanya. I invite Sunil Maniramka, architect Sunil Maniramka, founder of Maniramka and Associate, one of the leading reputed architectural firm of Kolkata. Few important projects from his office includes Viveka Tirtha. It's a latest, very recently done architecture project in Newtown, Rosedale, Caventer 1, Fortune Township, Shyam Mandir Raniganj, etc. He is also the past chairman of Indian Institute of Architects, West Bengal chapter. Sunil Maniramka. I invite Ayan Sen, architect Ayan Sen, well-matured architect from MIT, graduated from MIT, USA, always ready to learn. We have shared many projects together where he is always ready to learn for anything. Like this is a very very much important thing that we should understand, that the architect is doing his work at the same time he's learning. That is very good quality of Ayan. He is innovated the various projects around Kolkata. He is involved in a riverfront project also. So Ayan Sen, please. Architect Aditya Goswami, co-founder of Architectonic, having a studio in Kolkata and New Delhi. And he's also involved in many hospitality projects in all over India. Aditya Goswami. Architect Devranjan Chanda is the principal architect of AIM Studio. He's completed his master from IIEST Shibpur. His studio is in many projects, started from housing, commercial, and he has worked with me. I understand, I can tell you that he is a very dedicated person, and he tried to learn from whatever work he's doing, and his dedication is too good. Like Architect Devranjan. I'm supposed to start from Sukanya, but of course I'm giving some time to, because she's not feeling well. Still, she's keeping the commitment, so you can understand how the architect work beyond the capacity, beyond the body. So just Sukanya, one small question to you. Given the challenge and opportunities of integrated monumental architecture with principle of inclusivity, can you share any specific example or project where this balance has been successfully achieved? Sukanya, you can reply in short because you're not feeling well, I know.
Thank you for the invite, the guest of honor, panelists here, all from Architects and Interior India, all from ITP Media. Very good evening. As he said that I'm not that well. So you asked for examples, right? Now, just a line for inclusive architecture. Architecture is, I feel, all about people, and it is creating environment, buildings, spaces that is accessible to everyone of diverse needs, right? And where one can enjoy life, celebrate life. And this, this inclusive architecture creates environments when one feels this valued, respected, and also included. So this is the order of the day. And monumental architecture is a term which normally is apt for buildings or structure which are large in scale. Not only that, but it evokes a certain kind of awe, respect, and also this there's identity or memory, etc. So this monumental architecture, large, expressive, the structures, right? And these structures often are symbolic of historic or cultural importance. So you asked for the examples. There are many examples here in India and the world around. Recently built Nalanda University, right, which is built in Rajgir, and it has been listed as the Institute of National Importance by Government of India, is one of the example of monumental architecture. Creating spaces for inclusive learning, right? It's a contemporary institute, and also one of the premier institutes of Indian learning. It fosters this academic, inclusive focus and spirit of knowledge, exchange of ideas, and the cultural engagement that characterized the ancient Nalanda University. And other examples, in West Bengal, you see a lot of old heritage monumental buildings which are being restored and reused for inclusive uses like hotels, recreational centers. So these are examples. Also, in our projects we try to do keep this monumentality in mind and keeping inclusivity in mind. There are many examples, of course.
Okay, Sukanya, I'll come back to you because I would like to give you some time as you are a little tired of talking so long. My question goes to Sunil Maniramka. Sunil Maniramka has recently created one very good architecture example of monumental architecture, Vivek Tirtha. My question to Sunil is, as an architect with expertise in both monumental and inclusive architecture, and having recently designed a renowned monumental structure, Vivek Tirtha, How do you approach the balancing the grandeur and the symbolic elements of monumental architecture with the need of inclusivity and accessibility? Sunil, so how do you approach balancing the grandeur and the symbolic elements of monumental architecture with the need of inclusivity and accessibility?
Good evening, all of you. Thank you for inviting me to be one of the panelists. And we have a esteemed panelist list here. So we have recently designed one monumental building in Calcutta next to Eco Park by the name of Vivek Tirtha. It was for Ramkrishna Mission. It was a very challenging project for us, very, very challenging because of the client. The client are monks basically, so who live an austere life. So plus there is a hierarchy in their programming. So whatever the top boss decides, the junior order, even if it is wrong, he cannot question the senior people. So that is very important. And whatever the board decides, whatever they will be having in the program, you have to adhere to that. So it was a close competition with 3 architects, and we were invited to do the work. So basically, before I speak on the project, I first believe as an architect, all part of architecture, all buildings, whether small or large, they should be inclusive. Some can be much more inclusive, some can be less inclusive, but basic inclusive is there to make the building more human, more usable. Otherwise, the building will not be very fit to users who are using the building. In our this program, this was basically an university building which had an auditorium, which had basically 200 classrooms, seminar halls, lecture halls, staff residence, monks residence, service buildings. It was a huge, lot of varieties were there. The main building, the monumental building, the main building was the auditorium building, which was the Art Institute of Art Institute building, basically called the Vivek Tirtha. So when you have an auditorium building, it becomes very challenging to make the building very inclusive because of the building, basic nature of the building. And but in that building, we could first of all, when you design a building like that, you have to be first of all inclusive with the client. You have to take the client in the confidence. So you have to work with the client because the client knows the use of the building more than you because he has programmed the building. So we had a very long discussion with the client and even the contractors. The contractors were like Larsen and Toubro, very experienced people. So when we were designing the building, the contractor came late, but the client was initially there. So a lot of discussion came about the thing. And basically in that building, we could achieve some things. Basically, like we have ramps are there, we have very wide corridors are there. And we had the front row of the auditorium, the entire front row. Uh, Basically, since the building is used by monks for their programs and not for any cultural programs, so and many of the monks are very old and aged and they have mobility issues or some are on wheelchairs. So basically, the entire front row of about 28 seats, the 14 seats in the center we had earmarked for guest of honor and chief guest, and the 7 seats on either side. So 14 seats we earmarked them for people with mobility issues, and then we have uh, large toilets for wheelchair-bound people and a lot of open space so that people don't feel claustrophobic about that. So we addressed that building in that way. And for vertical movement, there was no space to put a ramp. So we had all these large lifts so people can move around.
Great, Sunil. You have shared a lot of detail of Vivek Tirtha, and this project is recently published in Glitz magazine. You all can have you can all see this kind what are the project's features are there. But I have a very important question for all architects, those who are recently started practice and those who are already practicing. But the question is so important to us, how you have handled monks and how you have handled the client when the all monumental architecture is created by some authority, like some person who is taking all the decision by himself. But here, the group of monks and group of people where monumental architecture or this kind of project where you have used so much of stone and all, it is so difficult. What is that technique is just share with us.
This is a very challenging question. It's very difficult to work with monks, but it was an enlightening experience. The first thing is that they are very educated people. When we see a monk, we feel that they are monks, so they are not worldly. They don't know about anything apart from religion or spirituality. It is not there. The monk which was in charge of the project, he was very, very educated, and he had done large projects earlier. In this system of in this order of Ramakrishna Mission, they have different monks for different work. So when they are doing a large project, so they have some few monks who knows about construction, who have handled large projects, who know the resources and all this. So in my this thing in my this building, we had the Swamiji which was there. He was very knowledgeable, and he has done large projects with the government in different part of the country. So you have a client who is very knowledgeable. You have a client who's authority. You have to talk with him in reverence. It's not like that some other client that you can just be a blunt sometime. You have to have respect at all levels of your communication. Right from when you enter the meeting room, maybe you have to touch his feet. So when it's basically like a submissive mode. So when you go to a client, there are no equals basically. Because already when you're touching his feet, when you're going to a meeting, you always acknowledge him as a higher order. So it becomes very difficult to put your point when he counters it. Number two, number three, these people are very conscious about the money they spend because it is public money. Every rupee has to be accountable. So you cannot have any frills in the building. If I'm looking for something, some expensive flooring or something very nice looking, or maybe something, so they will know, no, this is public money. Our mission is to serve people. We are making the building for people, so we cannot spend extra money. So that is very, very difficult. But for the cladding part in the stone, we wanted the building to be cladded in stone because of the design of the building. And initially they said no. So the entire building was designed in plaster. But after doing the building in plaster, designing the building in plaster on paper, I found that whoever does the plaster work will never be able to do justice to the work. So we convinced the authorities, with reference images, and told them that the design which you are looking for cannot be achieved in plaster because of the masons available in the city. So you have to go for stone. Still now, for the fourth side of the building, two sides are cladded in stone and two sides are not because there's no money. So we have only cladded two sides of the building in stone and two sides are just left plastered and painted. Maybe when we have money, we'll put it. That's it.
So many things to learn apart from the design, apart from the drawing. There are the system. There are things which how you can handle your client, what is your target, how you can achieve your target. This is what we have learned from Sunil. And of course, I have many questions, but we are with the time limit we are working. Now I would like to go to Ayan. Ayan, of course, I know you will eat all the time, but please give me a small and brief answer. What is the global trend increasingly emphasizing inclusivity and accessibility in architectural design? How do you perceive the significance of inclusive architecture in today's world? So this is which we would like to know from you. What is the global trend going on?
Well, I think American Disability Act is a benchmark with which accessibility is benchmarked across the world. In Indian projects, it has come by default, at least in public projects by and large. And I think it's there in most of the high-rise and high-end projects. I think where the chasm starts becoming apparent is when you're looking at public infrastructure projects, apart from ramps and apart from accessible signages, there aren't many areas where people are looking into. I think obviously our country has miles to go in terms of making sure that physical accessibility is there in terms of equal access, equal rights for all kinds of sections of society. And I think broadly, when you look at metro stations today, it's essentially a point where public architecture is being shown. And there are many metros coming up in the country, and many metro stations, of course. And this is an amazing opportunity where equal accessibility can be planned in a much, much more contemporary way. I think also in terms of some of the public waterfront projects that we're looking at right now, there are areas where, despite the will of the agencies, the land is often less in terms of figuring out access to the ghats or the river. And I think their policy changes need to happen because I think, particularly in Kolkata, there are multiple agencies that are involved between the land side and the port side. Sample games in Port Authority. So these overlaps need to sort of go over and beyond jurisdiction. So I propose the jurisdiction setups of special purpose vehicles. So special purpose vehicles essentially overlie and they create mandates for all public spaces. So I think that's one significant area.
And what kind of policies you think that it will create a monumental architecture, which is the public buildings are coming up, like metro station just on Eastern Bypass. It is just a station. Why not it is a monumental architecture? Why not it is created like that? What is the policy lacking?
So I think it's a missed opportunity. Certain projects which, so I think the entire country is undergoing a large infrastructure changes, and particularly in public projects. You see obviously some significant airports. I think train stations are yet another opportunity that is coming up. And I think projects that you particularly mentioned, I think the methodology of creating, selecting design processes, creating thematic opportunities. Otherwise, you're kind of making a cookie cutter train station across, and there is no specific design that interfaces with the urban realm. So between the metro and between the city, there is a in-between line, in-between gap that kind of does not take on urban design to the extent it could. Apart from that, I think not to comment on the design as much as I would like to, but at least I think there could have been a lot of opportunities in significant metro spots, which is an iconic space. For example, the one you're talking about faces the largest wetland in the city, and there is no thematic connect to that. It's kind of works on its own right in terms of its own introverted design language that makes it very banal in its all right. I think that still all love is not lost. There are stations that are transforming, the public spaces that are transforming, and I think that as a footnote to our conversation, this can be taken a step forward in terms of basic checklists, which can make some in some way these public projects more prominent and monumental projects more accessible.
Friends, right now we are working on a chartered accountant institute in Kolkata. And when I attend their meeting and when I understand how they are working, so all the chartered accountant are the advisor for the government taxes policy. But in architecture field, Indian Institute of Architect is not the advisor for government policies, and that may be the reason this all infrastructure projects coming for the railway station upgradation, for the metro station upgradation, and all this is on a prominent land, but it is not as great as it is supposed to be. But at this one time, you compare with the Bombay VT station, you admire that building. The building is it is an architecture marvelous place, but at the same time, right now, so many infrastructure projects going on, and we are losing this opportunity. So, in my opinion, architects should voice for this, and that is what where the policy makers are not just making the station just to take the metro or just take the flight like that. So that is what it comes in my mind, and it is what we all are discussing about. So Ian, great. We would definitely like to hear from you about your riverfront project, but I will come back to you immediately. Aditya, how do your advancement in technology influence the design and construction of both monumental and inclusive architecture? Can you provide example of how innovative technologies are being used to enhance accessibility and inclusivity in monumental structures? Aditya is mostly involved in a hospitality project, and his each and every building, I'll say that is a monumental architecture because the public access is there, and it is a public building kind of thing.
Thank you, Kamalda. I would sincerely like to thank the organizers and the sponsors to patronize this event and have me as a panelist. Coming to your question, Kamalda, I personally would want to, have one sentence on the subject. I think that there is no debate between monumental architecture and there is no versus inclusive architecture. Monumental architecture is inclusive in many ways because I think when we see history, when we see heritage, and when we want to now conserve our heritage through emerging technologies, maybe we have worked with augmented reality. Stuff and technology like that show us that monumental architecture does not fight with inclusivity. By inclusivity, I mean just not physical inclusivity, accessibility, but I mean social inclusivity as well. A lot of monumental architecture through history they have been public buildings and they have lost the sheen. That is why we nowadays see that they must have been inaccessible. Coming to the policy level, and when we design projects which are, public buildings, and like we mentioned that we work as a practice, we work on hospitality projects, or maybe when we are working on government projects, I have never found any lawmaker, any client ever tell us that don't make it inclusive. As much as we talk about technology and emerging technology, I think, or maybe we nowadays, left, right, and center, we talk about green sustenance, AI, and stuff like that. But as much we talk about that, I think the architect needs to be of a high EQ. The moment an architect is of a high EQ, emotional quotient, then any building of any size, including it being a monumental size, like Sunilda was just saying, Vivek Tirtha, I think high EQ would incorporate inclusivity and accessibility to our buildings, not just through ways of electromechanical devices and vertical transport and escalators and travelators and all that. Not only that, that's obviously a tool. But I think as a practice, what we generally do, and as we get old now, what we generally try and do, work and rework on the plinth of the building. So when we make the road catering to the plinth, touch the plinth, that means we are lowering the plinth of the building. I think nothing could be greater than that to accessibility. Thank you.
Aditya, you are involved with one project in Bhopal that is the reuse of heritage building, and you are converting it into a hotel. Can you share some of the experience, how you are incorporating the services, how you are trying to reuse, and at the same time, what are all challenges you are facing, and how you deal with this?
See, working with heritage conservation, I think, is easy, like I mentioned, on two counts. The moment we decide that, I mean, decide in the sense that when you work with EQ, then you decide what not to do. I think interjections in heritage structures need to be minimal. It's like, thinking like a doctor that, what can be minimum invasive. So we are working on this project, like you mentioned, in Bhopal, which is a palace, which is being retrofitted and then converted into a super luxury, hospitality. It's like a boutique resort. It's a couples only resort. So obviously people would pay for it. So I would say we worked on the same principles, that there was a plinth, and with all these heritage structures, what happens is, especially in our country, because we work here, so we see that the roads around it and the accessibility around it all go haywire because these buildings are all underutilized or unused. So the first job, according to me, is not to really work on the vertical transport, etc., but to reach up to the plinth. So we kind of go up to reach where usability is. And then I think automatically the design follows through, and then you have a flow through. Once you reach the plinth, then I think we can work with vertical transport. I think that's the easiest and the safest means for accessibility, physical accessibility. Regarding social accessibility, I would like to give you a small example in a project that we worked years back. We had done this resort called Kushalpalli in Ayodhya Hills in Purulia. So talking about social accessibility, so this was, completely out of topic in terms of physical accessibility. So in that project, in Ajodha Pahar, Purulia, we did not have a contractor. So the client was fantastic, and he allows us to involve the local tribals. So I think that's one of the greatest examples of social inclusivity, because once they made what they made, and it's a fairly successful resort now, get to know the locals and the tribals who were insurgent a few years back than when this project happened. Once they did this, it became an example of passive policing. They protect a resort which is 5-star. They protect that because they made it. So I think that's one of the finest examples that a social person like any architect can perhaps achieve in the practice. Thank you.
So Aditya is handling different kind of issues on a daily basis, I believe, because he's not working on a single location. He's working on a many locations. Of course, there are a lot questions to ask from Aditya. Still, we are running with a sort of time. Again, I have to come back to Sukanya also. Debranjan, what are the key aspects to keep in mind when trying to balance the grandeur and accessibility in your project?
I think that monumental architecture and inclusive architecture, there is hardly a very subtle difference. Because as an architect, when we do any designing, that time automatically this kind of accessibility, social participation, that kind of small, subtle things and elements we always take care about. And particularly, I think we should address the issue in a 3 level. Like when we designing the entire process, it should be in a 3 level, like site planning level. Some issues maybe in terms of, particularly if I talk about mid-size project, where we found a lot of problems in terms of inclusivity. Like after putting the building, there is a very minimum leftover space there that is mainly it out by the driveway. So now when we have to put the inclusive ideas like pedestrian walkway or the that differently able people, how they will go toward, they will move within the site. So sometimes there is an intersection between the two traffic, like one vehicular and this pedestrian, this one collision may take place. So that time designer should be very careful about this kind of traffic management. And secondly, I think that parking lot, when we design the parking lot for the differently abled people, so that should be very close to the lobby, and that entire management of that movement, that should be very carefully done. So it should not be conflict with the vehicular or any speedy traffic. And I think further a lot of small issues are there, like making the ramp for the mid-size project, for a staircase and a ramp. Most of the time we have to provide the ramp for this special ability people. So ramp will take almost 7 to 8 times of the area of a staircase. So that RAM, how to manage that RAM within that particular space is a very big challenge. But obviously, sometime we have to keep a dedicated space for that. So that part may be for the site planning level. For building level, we should take care about the doorways, wide doorways, a proper corridor. Corridor size should be taken care of the overall traffic of that particular building and different type segment of traffic, like elderly people or how much physically challenged people may come. So that obviously depends upon the type of usage of the building. And secondly, like the grab bar, we handrail, what we generally use. So that should be taken care of for the both kind of people, like the normal people as well as specially abled people. And particularly the restroom and some small areas like close to the lifts, there should be some amount of waiting area, the niche pockets where these disabled people can be taken for 1 to 2 minutes during this holding of that lift. So this kind of small spaces we should incorporate and think about, and then I think it will make a sense to make a proper design.
Right, Devrajan saying rightly that there's a very subtle difference. So architect is very supposed to be very precise, or architect is supposed to be very thoughtful to design monumental architecture, at the same time inclusivity. And of course, I'll come back again to Devrajan. My next question goes to Ayan, because I cannot leave Ayan to speak less. Considering the global shift toward the inclusivity architecture, how do you absorb the differences in its adoption and implementation in India?
See, as the global shift to inclusivity has happened for a while now, it's not something new. I think we're just sort of making it as a standard, and they're going and making it even more inclusive in terms of technology. I think technology and other facilities like AI is coming in a big way in terms of building management. But I think as far as India is concerned, the smaller corporate level activity where one can afford that, that is happening. I think for me, I think we should start from the streets and sidewalks. I think we don't have sidewalks in our cities yet of a certain caliber, let alone moving a wheelchair or having the corner curbs merge down to the basics. So I think somewhere we have to probably take 2 steps back and not get into AI while our sidewalks are not in place, while our affordable housing facilities are not in place. So for me, I think that I'm not going to benchmark. I'll benchmark with the global standards when it comes to airports, railways, metros, and other waterfront accessibility, because I think access to water is a fundamental right for a city and its citizens. So I think that's very important. And I think that overall policy measures should be made in a way that it's not only global, but more in terms of where India wants to be in its first place. Signages, rail signages have been something which is a basic right in European countries. I don't think we have that even in places which are public spaces. So I think because we're looking at a different worldview, I personally feel infrastructure on the whole needs to probably have more ease of access. If we take something as fundamental as the undulations in a sidewalk in Indian conditions, I mean, I won't name cities to benchmark, but at least across, I think we don't have that. So when you make standards which can be then implemented across the country, there is lots of things to do. And of course, then you can also use sensor-based technology where that kind of digital technology can be simply implemented in public spaces in terms of crossovers, in terms of visual signages, in terms of retail signages. So yeah, I'm kind of more concerned about not the high quality hotel spaces or office that I designed for the Tatas recently. I'm not kind of concerned about that. I'm more concerned about the larger masses having that kind of vision.
See, we have see a very landmark location like Chorangi Road, and if you see, there are all tall buildings are coming, and people enjoys the top view from there, and this is limited to few people. Those who can buy the 42 floor, then he can enjoy the view. I want anyone can reply on this. I want to know what is supposed to be the policy so that the Kolkata view can be enjoyed by the people of Kolkata or whoever wants to enjoy it. The reason this question arises in my mind is because the sky view is limited to few people. It is supposed to be not. It should not be. Anyone reply me what is supposed to be the policy so that this is for the public of Kolkata or anyone who is in Kolkata can enjoy that.
Kamal, I'll just say a thing.
You go to Paris, you enjoy you go to the Eiffel Tower, you enjoy the view, and you create the memory of this. You create your an experience of Paris, but not of Kolkata. There is some policy matter is required, and of course the panelists are all experienced, can think what policy is required to do this kind of thing.
First, I'll add to you. I have seen many buildings across the world where the top floor we have that sky view, something says space. You have a glass house where you can enjoy the skyline. You can have a sip of coffee and all this. But whatever buildings I have seen in Shanghai, in China, and other places, lot of places, they are either in the top of a hotel or an office building. There are none I have seen on a residential building. In India, the taller building are only the residential buildings. You see in Calcutta also, in Bombay also, you don't have tall office buildings or tall hotel buildings. So when you have a residential building, it is a private property where few residents, basically they're all HNI people because they spend billions of rupees to have their houses. So they would not allow anybody to enter the premise and go to the top floor and all this. But office building is more of a public building than a residential building. So if you have tall office buildings, you have tall hotel buildings, there you can do it. I'll just tell you, we are doing the tallest commercial building in Calcutta right now by the name of Caventer 1 in Dalhousie. On top of that building, we are giving a sky terrace with a helipad on top where a sky lounge is there. So we are doing from where people can enjoy the river Hooghly, the Howrah Bridge, the second bridge. So they can enjoy the Howrah skyline and the Calcutta skyline on Stand Road. It is there. So we are doing, but that can only happen in an office building or a hotel building, not in a residential.
Great to know.
After that,
Yes, Sukan.
you see, even the office building and the hotel buildings, those are also limited to few people, those who can afford. But what I feel like he was saying at the policy level, like if you can have some a land like an Eiffel Tower in in Paris, right? To that kind of monumental structure, where it's affordable to everybody who can go up and see, like in office or in hotel, few people can go and see. It's a public building, though.
Creating for the public to go above, like that's a cafe. That's a cafe, maybe.
I don't think so.
Yeah. They'll see. Now, see, this is a matter of policy. Definitely, it's not free. Nobody is going to allow you to enjoy a sky terrace and just go to a building. Otherwise, you cannot control. So, if you see abroad also, nothing's free. You go to Bangkok, you have the Bayak Sky building. You go to Shanghai, the Shanghai Tower is there. In Guangzhou, the Guangzhou Tower is there. You have to pay a very, very hefty price, which, if by Indian standard, is too high. So even in India also, you have to pay a good price to go to that building.
Sunil, if you are paying maybe once or twice, or it is just to enjoy the view, you are not missing the skyline. You are paying for, say, for example, you are paying once, or you are going to you are enjoying the skyline. That is not every day you need it, or every day you are paying for it.
Yeah. So if you are willing to pay, definitely it is for you also.
So my question is, Caventer 1, how tall it is?
Is 155 meters.
Right. From 155 meter, definitely someone want to enjoy one coffee and can enjoy the Kolkata. And of course, it is supposed to be, cafe is supposed to be a public space because it's you're paying for the coffee, you're paying for the entry. That is all right. Say in Singapore, recently I visited one building of Bizarre King Ingle, and the top floor was a restaurant. And we asked them to we have asked the entry, and we visited for around 1.5 hour, and we enjoyed the Singapore city. But this is not happening in Kolkata. This is not happening. And as you said, this is not possible in a residential building. But if suppose tomorrow the government comes with the policy that if you allow a watchtower or something on top of it with the exclusive staircase, lift, and the separate corridor, and we will allow you 0.5% or 0.15% of FAR. You see, the all developer will come to go for that. So they will find out the way. So there is some policy lacking is there. Because I don't want to miss any of. See, I personally think that there should be policy, and it should not be the thing like the chaurangi, we should miss that ki chaurangi hamesha niche se hi dekhenge, not like that. Or maybe today, tomorrow you are creating a cabin to one on a river bank. That's a fantastic location. Of course, people want to enjoy, and it is supposed to be accessible for all class people. I think that a good thing, and your developer will listen to you. You please make it a public place on top of it.
I'll just in Caventer one we have, like we have abroad, we have different level terraces. So your terrace on the 10th floor is a totally public space. Restaurant, spa, gym, pool is about 40,000 square feet of public space on the 10th floor. From 10th floor also you can see the entire river, because you have just opposite the building you have the small warehouses which are only 3 or 4 floors height, so you can see it. Now and then you have on the 24th floor, then in the 35th floor you have like that. So what I say that in office building, when you have a lot of visitors also coming, you have peons coming, other people are coming, you do it. But would you feel comfortable if you are staying in a very high-rise building? Say you're staying in 42. Would you be comfortable that some guy pays 200 rupees and go to the top floor building and sit there for 2 hours? Will you feel comfortable? I don't think you would feel comfortable.
See, it is a separate lift lobby. It's a separate entrance. Maybe it is not done, but if it is allowed, or if it is a policy thing, and if there is a benefit to the developer, he will find the way, because they can have that separate entry, separate thing, and a floor dedicated to the public or on the top of it, and it is not interfering to the resident living in that area. So that's a visitor is only visiting and enjoying. He's not occupying, he's not owning the place. So there's a difference, because no one is interfering. It is only a time thing, kind of thing. So once I was in Chatterjee International Building, and we was seriously thinking about this to create a watch kind of terrace on top of it. But of course, it's a redevelopment or reconstruction project. So it was not possible because of the lift crisis and all, because lift is a big issue in Chatterjee International. Now it is all changed and all. But of course, this is a one thing which is tomorrow you are sitting across the policymaker, and something should come to the city like this. Right. So with this discussion, we are almost over with the time also. And I thank you all the panelists for sharing their knowledge. And thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. You can keep it there. Thank you so much. That was an absolutely brilliant session. Have you all picked it up in order? That's an order. I told you all not to pick up everything together, guys. Okay. I request all of you all to kindly stay back for felicitation. I request Mr. Viresh Malan, Chiefs of Sales from ICA, and Mr. Subhendu Ganguly, Managing Director LUK, to felicitate our dear panelist. I request architect Aditya Goswami, architect and founding partner from Architectonic Services, to kindly come forward. Can we please have a huge round of applause for the felicitation? Next, we have architect Ayan Sain, principal architect from Ayan Sain Architects. Kindly come forward. Architect Debranjan Chanda, principal architect from AIM Studio. Thank you, sir. Architect Sukanya Das Gupta, Sukanya and Associates. Ma'am, could you please come forward? Thank you. And last but not the least, architect Sunil Maniramka, principal architect from Maniramka and Associates. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That was an absolutely engrossing session. And thank you so much to all the panelists for making it such a success. And as we move on to the next session of the evening, which is the next gen panel discussion with the new age architects who will build the architecture of tomorrow. Thank you. And to commence the next gen panel discussion, I would again like to invite on stage the moderator of this session, Architect Kamal Periwal. Sir, can we please have you back on stage? Can we please have a huge round of applause? Thank you so much, sir. I now leave the forum to you.
Hello. Friends, this is next gen panel discussion. Of course, we have shared we have discussed with a lot of experienced architect, and now, of course, they are also experienced, but in a different way. I would like to take out some good information from them. So I invite Abhijit Saha. He is an artist and he creates lots of interior, and artist can imagine a lot. So his interiors client is always involved with the art and interior. Abhijit Shah. I invite Chetan Patel. Chetan Patel, an international trained architect, always trying to do something new, creative research, form and function. Yes, Chetan. Harshita Poddar. Harshita Poddar, Principal Interior Designer, Harshita Poddar and Associate, Kolkata, innovative approach and transform numerous residential, commercial and hospitality projects. Harshita. Aditya Broto Bashu is a young architect, but he influenced me with his one word that AI can work differently for different people, and with a different experience, you'll get the different information. So that's one thing which shows that how matured he is at this age. Ankita Baid. Ankita Baid, well-known interior designer trained from Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts in Singapore. She has crossed 100 projects in Kolkata and various cities in India. Ankita. So my question to Abhijit is how you incorporate your art into your profession of interior design. At the same time, how you create monumental interior with your art.
Thank you, Kamalji and the ITP Media to invite us for this evening. Thank you, audience. Those who are keep patience to listen the words. Just for these questions, I want to say, art is everywhere. Everywhere, every interior, every architecture, every creation starts from art. And art is everywhere in everyone's mind. Otherwise, an artist, a creator, an architect, an interior designer cannot formed, cannot formed. So in that way, we always incorporate art from nature because we teach art from nature. We teach art from a leaf, from a flower, from a form, from any kind of forms. If I see a material which you are using in day by day, everything is an art form. If you want to see, you have to a vision to see that. So in our interior design, we always incorporate arts, our textures, our colors, our forms, our designs. It comes from art. In a monumental architecture, whenever we see the monumental architecture, everywhere we see some forms of art in the buildings. Their geometry, it's an art. The parametricism, the parametric design, which can come from a wave, from a water wave, from a wind wave, from any other wave and designs. And we incorporate that all the designs in our architecture, in our monumental architecture, and by the way, any kind of architecture and forms.
So the artist is having eye, he can see art everywhere. And this is the problem with Avijit. He can see the color with the artistic eye, the form with the artistic eye, everything. Every time he is with the art, and his client is influenced. His client is get out by his art. That is the kind of work he is doing. And of course, the work which is close to your heart and which is using every day, it means it is a monumental. You don't want to change it. That is a monumental thing. I believe in that, and I think he is the creator of that kind of work. Of course, now I would like to go to the Chetan. Chetan, how do your personal experience and background influence your approach to designing inclusive spaces?
Thank you, ITP and Kamal sir. So, um, so growing up in
So
Nashik.
there's one chair. 1 second, Chetan.
Yeah.
There's one chair vacant, and we don't want to keep this empty. And of course, I really forgot. Sorry for that. Viresh, please join us. Please join us. सॉरी बॉस पीछे खड़े होने से तो भूल जाते हैं हम Yes, Chetan.
Yeah. So since the inception of my architecture journey, like I have been exposed to different, variety of community and social environment, and having such exposure have gained that you say sorry for that, but different social needs. And this has given me the opportunity to, put the um, but,
So, Chetan, when you're designing some spaces, what are the influence? What are the influence holds your work? Like how you process it? Like that is the thing you please share with us. Like I know you're involved with one doctor's work, and
yeah,
it is a
yeah. So the thing is, like, currently we are on a initial design stage of a hospital.
Right.
So hospital being a project, so inclusivity is really very important.
Right.
Such projects. So the design process which we have adapt is parametricism.
Okay.
And especially in parametricism, like it allows us to have wide, range of options as we have the data, especially data as in universal standards of accessibilities, especially in hospitals, which should allow each and every person, rather it be physically able or any social background. Um, so through that, like we are studying the client need plus also the community needs as well in the hospitals. So after getting those data, we input all those into the parametric design tools such as like Rhino, Grasshopper, uh, as well as the initial design stage. We, as an architect, we also need to study the environment, the site context, as well as the issues which we have um in the general hospitals, which are like I will be keeping it short. Sorry
Right,
for
right.
this, but which is the natural light or the overcrowded spaces. So through that, like we have came out with the different iterations of the layout with the
Chetan,
help of parametricism.
Chetan, I want to know whether when you are designing a hospital space and it is a parametric design, so always it is we architect understand that ki parametric design production is quite difficult.
It is.
So what are the challenges you are facing in that?
So currently, the challenges what we are facing is the actual facade, kind of like the hospital site is in Bihar. So Bihar does have like the
So the
greatest.
contractor resources are very poor in Bihar, I believe. Is it true or
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
So how you are trying to execute? What are the challenges you are facing?
So the challenges, like especially for the facade, what we are facing were the undulated, the facade kind of stuff. But we did had a research like how we can have another option for that, and we came up with this terracotta jalis. So through that, like we have proposed the new, option for.
So Chetan is experimenting a lot and he's trying to execute the difficult thing in a difficult location, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So all the best. Let me please forward me the picture once it is done. Right.
Sure.
Right. Harshida, I would like to come to you now. What innovative approaches do you propose for integrating these advancements to create designs that are both visually striking and universally accessible?
Thank you for this question. A very good evening to my fellow contemporaries and ladies and gentlemen. So today we are standing at an intersection of design sensibility, creativity, and inclusivity. So we must design according to making the spaces inclusive in nature. Now, how do we do these? A lot of innovative approaches are available to us as tools which we can adopt in our design sensibility. A huge part plays in technology. So here we talk about technology, we talk about AI, we talk about virtual reality, we talk about Internet of Things. Now, what is AI? AI is basically a computer design field in which aids human intelligence in creating designs that are absolutely inclusive, pertaining to the space, pertaining to the individuals or the end users, in terms of space efficacy, in terms of energy efficacy. Virtual reality, again, you can just incorporate a lot of renders into your design, which is 360 degrees oriented, or which is more inclusive, and probably just wear those glasses and people even with different abilities can experience the space around you as to how it has been designed. For Internet of Things, a lot of smart building options are available. We have been using automation to the penultimate levels. We are even going to the extent of automating the doors and windows of a home. So we can incorporate all of that. And then IoT would also help us in a lot of data analysis. So a lot of data is collected every day on every sphere. And we would use all of that into our design to understand the needs, again, of the end user much better, with people with different abilities or identities or socioeconomic backgrounds.
Ashita, can you share one of your project which is really connected to our topic, monumental architecture or exclusive architecture? Anything like?
So recently, since we are interior designers, we are not architects per se. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have
it's
been
okay. It's okay. Architecture, interior
we just,
interior is more connected to our user. Of course, architecture is a very wide infrastructure kind of project, but interior, which is absolutely user space. So
we've had this luxury of designing a villa, which is upcoming in Calcutta, which is very much fashioned on the on the Baroque structure. So we did take up a lot of our influence from the palace, which I recently visited in Prague. It was the Schönbrunn Palace, and just the sheer colossal architecture is really something that really influenced me. And I did manage to incorporate the arches and the columns, etc., into the facade integration. And obviously, the interior space in accordance to that is getting designed, which is mostly very it's more on a neoclassical stage.
So, Harshita, again, one question comes to my mind is the architect loves black. You love blue or black? Which color you love? Like, which color is more favorite to you? Is blue or black?
Blue or black? I think I love all the colors of the rainbow. I mean, I would use colors extensively. In fact, I do in all of my projects. So color is my specialty.
So it is coincidence that I have met the panel to center of attraction, placing the blue in the center of our panel. Great. Aditya, my question to you is: what ethical considerations do you believe are important in integrating AI-driven design process to ensure inclusivity, sustainability, and diversity?
First of all, thank you so much for the invite to all the sponsors and to you, sir. So, thing with AI, though we are all learning about it right now, from what the data is at this stage, it's like the ethical concerns are really getting stronger in all fields of arts, be it writing for movies. And the thing with architecture is it's probably one of the most important ones, because we'll be using this AI to shape not just the buildings, but probably the cities of tomorrow. So I think the role of AI will be much greater in the urban sphere, while designing neighborhoods and large scale urban interventions than architecture per se, because the sheer amount of data it can compute and the time it can do it in. The differ Obviously bias is a very important thing that many people are working on in AI, how to reduce the bias. And that is what we were discussing that day when I told you that I think experienced architects would be much better at using AI, contrary to opinion that it's a youngster's game or something like that. Because it's about prompt engineering is a subject where what you're putting into AI is how you're driving the results. But then again, it's the person behind the wheel. So if you know what you want the machine to do, which direction you want it to take it in, and that ethical responsibility has to stay with the architect. I think we heard in the last discussion about emotional quotient, EQ. I think that's a very strong part of an architect. So when you're deciding the direction of the project, your vision for the project, you're basically deciding on the principles, the guiding principles of that project. How we delineate it, what materials we use, they come after that. But I think AI, uh, although it has optimized a lot of things, and people are worried that it'll take out, say, a lot of work for a lot of people. But I think it'll be like that. The 3D rendering, BIM softwares, has it taken out people? No, it has made, it has opened up new avenues of work. So, like prompt engineering, already courses have started. So prompt engineering is going to be a very strong thing. I read a quote very nicely where a senior executive asked about his prediction. He said that I would not have my AI team build cars. I would rather have the car guys and give them the most experienced AI team and ask them to make the best cars. So it's like, it's just a tool, but we have to use it. The responsibility is with us. It can go wrong.
Aditya, do you agree that each and every architect should have access to AI, or every office should have AI continuously using the AI, or it is not required? You can do as you are regularly doing it. Now, AI is must or not?
I was just reading up on this. So in England, one third of the practices have already adopted AI. One third are scared it will disrupt them. In America, almost 60 to 70% of the firms involve AI in some of their processes, be it renderings, be it drawing production, but in some stage. And this number is only going to shoot up. I feel it'll be like AutoCAD. It'll be like that change where we were taught to hand draft, hand draft. Hand drafting does have value. But now everything is shifted to AutoCAD. I think it can cut down on those monotonous works where we are like labeling a drawing, where we know what change we want to do, and then optimizing as per those changes. But the direction, like I said, will be, the control has to be with the user. And that is what we have to safeguard against.
Great. I'll come back to you again. We have Ankita. Can you discuss the role of social media in promoting awareness and appreciation for architectural diversity, inclusivity, and grandeur?
Thank you, sir. Good evening. I think social media is a very important platform today because there's so much we can learn from it. It's like an online library. It contains all the data of different projects, different architectural inventions, and even history. You can go back to social media and learn a lot from it. In earlier times, what used to happen was, a man could only travel to limited places in his lifetime. But today, like with just one click, I can go to London. I can probably see all the architectural inventions in London, travel to Italy in another click and see all the monumental architecture there, come back to India and again see all the beautiful forts and palaces that have been built. So social media is a very powerful tool because it is helping you get a lot of exposure with in very less time. Probably in a day's time, you can study all the beautiful pieces of architecture in India, and that was not possible in earlier times. Today, it is possible. So it is a very important tool. Also, there are many influencers and bloggers on social media who are posting very informative content. And there are websites like YouTube and so many other websites where you can gain a lot of theoretical and practical content online. You can gain inference from them, learn from them, and apply them to your projects today. So social media definitely is a very important platform, I feel, and everyone should use social media to gain more knowledge and more awareness about the world and the different kinds of architecture and design practices that are happening around the world.
Ankita, this is true that key information is required, but so much of information, how you'll handle it? So it is, see, it is so much, anything more than required is spoiling the work. How you'll handle it? Tell me about.
I think that is the job of the human mind, to filter the information, to choose what is right, what is convenient to execute, what is practical to execute, and to just remove whatever is not required. So as a designer, it is important to filter all the information that you're getting online. There can be right information, there can be wrong information, there can be all kinds of information online. But you as a designer and as an architect, you have to see what is suitable to you, what is suitable to your client, what you can apply in your project, and what you have to leave behind, you just have to leave behind.
So those who are confused to use social media or information, their work will not be up to the mark, or their work will not be as it is supposed to be. So information really need to filter very smartly. That is what you're
Yes,
saying, right?
definitely. That is the job of a human mind. I mean, we are trained to filter what is useful for us, we keep it, what is not, we just leave it.
So need to limit social media when you're using for your information. Of course, you should always limit anything which is more in your head.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
People are busy with social media, Facebook and all, so forgetting the work.
It can help you, it can make you, it can break you as well. You have to decide how you want to use it.
Viresh, you're a man of coating industry, and I would like to understand when we are choosing the right material or right thing, it comes to the right decision. So is your team helping architect the vision to realization?
So good evening, everyone, and thank you for inviting me for this panel. So I'm not an architect, not an interior designer, but I represent the industry. So I think the question you asked, sir, is very important. And every forum where I go to, whether it was the last year when we were talking about economics versus maximalist versus minimalist, and this year we are talking about monumental versus inclusivity. As a brand or as a organizations which are helping the home industry or commercial industries, it is a job of us to help you get your vision right. A job of an architect, in our view, is give the person what they want. They don't know what they want, and get them out in the way. But to get that, what do we do? So if we talk about monumental in today's term, I think monumental earlier was the most sustainable form of architecture. They were using products, they were using materials which were still good. But I think somewhere in the time we lost why we are not using those things now. So as a brand, what all brands are doing, they're trying to bring in things which are sustainable in nature. At the same time, give you the same monumental thing, or can be inclusive for any design. For example, if today you're designing a villa which needs to look like a monument, or it is a purpose, the villa is to give you a feel, but you can't use a lot of stuff there, which is a lot of weight for whatever reason. If it's a tall building, a lot of weight cannot be added into the interiors of a house. How do you bring the grandeur out if you're not going to use actual stuff everywhere? Then what do you brands do? They bring out alternates. They bring out sustainability around it. And that's what we've been doing. And that's how we try to learn from these forums, and we hear you guys out what's going to happen, what you're doing, and bring those things into existence, which can help you give your vision.
Yes, recently we have done one project in Kolkata, that is Season House. And you know, that's a heritage building. And in that client brief was our building exterior is heritage, and we would like to create interior which is going with the elevation, which is going like this. It should not be a modern interior. And after doing this work, and ICA was we have chosen ICA for all the coating and all. And Manish color codes. So when he visited after completion of site, he said, I was not aware the material can be applied like this. So that time I thought that key company should have one or a few people, those who can suggest designer what material they can use, what kind of finish they can use, because you have many finishes, you have many type of thing, and the suggestion is required. Of course, you are saying that we have matte, we have dead matte, we have S matte, but some suggestions are required from the company. I was surprised when Manish is surprising that you have used so nicely my all materials here. And I was not aware that this can be applied like this. So this is what I experienced with Manish, and of course the project has come out very good, and I really appreciate that ICA is having so many finishes and all. It is looking international quality. I mean, at the world level quality kind of thing. Thank you. Thank you, Vice.
We have taken a leaf out of this. We've started actually getting people who are with architect interior designer background in our team.
Right.
So that they can actually explain how the products can help their mission.
Right.
Earlier, all business people cannot explain that.
They're supposed to enter to the project, and they're supposed to try to understand. As like architect is suggesting, sir, आपके लिए ये अच्छा है, आपके लिए ये अच्छा है, and you go for this, you go for this. So the company, because they are the advisor to the designer, what material from ICA you can use and what kind of combination. It is not required the combination, but the finishes which is available, and after completion of the project, if we regret that instead of this finish we would have gone for that finish. So that is one place, because I personally use that metallic paint with the veneer, with the kind of thing, and he got surprised that कि आप इतने अच्छे से इसको use किया, मैं तो कभी सोचा भी नहीं था. So that's a company which is doing all over India, so many projects, so many things like that. So there's one vacancy. Of course, maybe you can choose one architect who is there. If you're not getting, I'm there. I have one question with Abhijit. What is your suggestion of creating extraordinary interior with art? I mean, selection of art goes to last. It doesn't come first, because we last में we go for कहाँ से artifact मिलेंगे, कहाँ से painting मिलेंगे, and like that. So you start because your mindset and you are an artist. So you suggest us how to start with art, then interior.
Sir, my utmost suggestion for an interior, every interior is a signature project of a designer. Unless it is a very simple and traditional work or very general line work to draw, there is no creativity, only box, furnitures, wall paint, plain ceiling, plain lighting, and finish it off. If it as a signature work of an art and interior designing, I should say always keep a wall for a mural, for an artwork, which denotes a project, a very different kind of signature of your work. It can be done by you. It can be engage an artist to do the work. I cannot say every interior designer is an artist who can paint of himself or herself. But if we enhance our quality of the designs, if we want to enhance our tradition, if we enhance our creativity, we should keep one wall at hall or a bedroom, in any signature wall, an entrance wall, to keep a mural, wall mural, and art. To do the projects beautiful and abruptly, unconditionally beautiful.
Abhijit, many times you get many kind of clients. Sometimes client is not responding to your art. Then what happens to you?
Sir, always I try to do some painting on it or good prints of a famous painter put on the wall, except
But
use
he's
a
not, Abhijit, he's not interested in art. What will you do? My question is, if your client is not interested in art, maybe, say many type of client,
no
and
issue.
sometime he is
No
not
issue.
interested.
Do good colors, do good textures, and do good cartons, draw good cartons. That's enough.
I thought, Abhijit, you will supply one painting free of cost. That is what I thought of. So you are saying still you will keep it blank only. No.
No.
I thought you will hang one painting at least on his wall that this is from my side and you no need to pay.
Yes. Always I do it. Always
Right.
I do it.
So
I
somehow
know my painting.
or another, you have to bear with Abhijit that his art is supposed to be in his house. That is his aim is, and I think he will do it next time. And in case if you think that I'll appoint you as my interior designer, and I don't understand art, please supply one painting to me.
No. In that case, I'll suggest use a very good wallpaper. Very good wallpaper, very good texture.
So you give up the art? No, it is not possible.
Yes, wallpaper should be an art. If you see the Sabyasachi from Asian paint, it's a piece of art.
Great. But in case even client is not understanding, client is not interested in art, please supply one painting free of cost. That is my suggestion. Anyway,
In that
Ankita, you have done many projects all over India, and you have a exposure of international practice even. My question to you, if it is given to you at a kind of heritage building, and it is supposed to be converted in a inclusivity architecture, what will first come to your mind? That what you are thinking that in a palace kind of place, what you will convert into? See, for example, you get a palace kind of place. Say, for example, you get a palace, and client asks is कि इसमें क्या करना चाहिए? So, what comes to your mind, and how you will make it a public building?
To convert a palace probably into a more inclusive space, I would first automate it, because I think, palaces are majestic. They are really big. Sometimes, the directions are not there for people. They get lost. They don't know exactly how the layout is. So it's very important to automate the place in various ways. It can be lighting automation. It can even be computerized screens telling them about where to go, directions. So automating a palace will not only, I will still be able to retain the grandeur of the project. At the same time, I can make it more functional and more people can access the place. More number of people can go there and see the palaces and gain inference from them. So automating definitely, yes, is number one that I would do to monumental architecture to make it more inclusive.
Ankita, you have designed so many jewelry showroom.
Yes.
And my question is, how you try to conceive that as a modern way or it is in a classical way? And what comes to your mind when anyone asks you to design one jewelry showroom?
Like Abhijit sir said that art is everywhere. So that comes to my mind first, because jewelry is also a form of art. And if you're going to buy jewelry showroom, you have to be in that ambience of art to be able to select the right piece. So art is an important element that I like to highlight in every jewelry showroom. It can be maybe in the form of intricate patterns on the flooring, maybe some beautiful inlay patterns, or it can be some mirror work that is done on the ceilings. But everything is art at the end of the day. Whatever I'm doing, all of this is art. Whether I'm making any flooring inlays or making any wall patterns, it all comes back to art. So that is the most important thing that comes to my mind when I'm making any showroom. It has to depict a certain sense of creativity that can only come if I make my artistic sense very strong.
My another question to you is, if
Yes,
client asks to select one site for their jewelry showroom, and there's a two option is there. One is classical building and one is the most modern building, but with a very good height, like 6 meter or 7 meter or 8 meter. Which one will be your preferred one?
I would suggest I would take up a classical building because I'm already working on many modern projects, whether it is an office or residence or other kinds of cafes and restaurants. But if I'm given a chance to work on a classical building, I think I would take that up because that's more challenging. To make a classical building into a more functional, inclusive space is challenging, and I would like to take that up.
Ankita, this is your choice, but because you are working on modern building, so you are looking for classical building.
Yes.
What is suitable for him to open the showroom?
Sorry.
What's suitable for him to open the showroom? It is a classical building,
I think
or
classical
because
building
you said I'm working on modern building, so I want the classical building. No, it is not like this.
The level of experimentation in a classical building is higher, I feel, than the kind of experimentation that you can do probably in a modern building. Because in a modern building, you have to stick to certain parameters of functionality, whereas in a classical building, you are given more flexibility to design the inspirations can be more ornamental. There's more fun that you can have with the project when it comes to a classical building. The materials also that you use are different from than a modern building. So I would choose a classical building because it will give me more, right to experiment, more space to experiment and use different kind of things to enhance the decor of the space.
Great. So now I would like to ask Harshita, if one boutique property is given to you and you client is asking to convert it into a boutique hotel, so what will be your process of working?
The design process that I would inculcate into this would be sabse pehle I would kind of understand, do my research as to what this space was, how this was changed previously in the past, have any design changes been made, what is the structure of the building, how much the building, what is the condition of the building, whether it is dilapidated or how much resurrection can it actually undertake. That is very important. So that would involve a lot of research as to studying all the blueprints of the space. Secondly, I would also talk to the stakeholders, the various stakeholders. I mean, people who have been involved in generations. Say if it's a royal building, then the probably the royal family I would speak to, and vice versa. Or maybe if it's a government space, the government individuals, etc. Whoever is interested or seen the space, I would speak to them. Then I would come up with the design that I propose. Then also understand, I would make it more collaborative and rope in more of urban developers. I would rope in architects, landscape planners, lighting consultants, HVAC consultants, and try and make the space more holistic and more, accessible to everybody. I would try to understand as to say, suppose who's the end user of the project. Say, like you said, it's a boutique hotel that you're wanting to convert it to. So it has to be very, very accessible to each and every sphere. Be it a socioeconomic background, be it people with any kind of issues, as in the sense if they are able, disabled. So all kind of abilities and disabilities I would consider, and also identities of the people who are actually going to be inhabiting that space. That is my design process.
So one question comes to my mind is, when we are trying to create some grandeur, this question for anyone can reply. When we try to create some grandeur, so the height is say 6 feet, 8 feet, or 6 meter or 8 meter or something like that. At time the architect is working on a different scale. The interior design is working on a different scale. And client is you're supposed to claim, you're supposed to ask for your fees, and before work when you're asking your fees, how you'll convince your client that this is a different kind of project, and the height is say 6 meter, it means double the floor, and you're asking for double the fees, or how you'll convince? Anyone can reply. See, the question is, when we are creating grandeur in interior designing, and definitely you have so much of efforts to put, and you are looking for your fees. And that in the beginning you cannot convince, or he will not agree to it. Flow plan dekh ke, he will say ki this is the fees now. How you'll convince? Anyone can reply. Those who are charging more can reply first.
It's to each its own, but though I would convince the client with visual images, 3Ds, perspectives, sketches. And the only way to convince a client is to convince them with visuals. If we verbally tell them that it's a very, verbally explaining might not make, it might not be that effective. So my presentation has to be very strong. If it's a very unique project and if I want to ask the client for extra fees, I need to make my presentation extra strong. My visuals, my 3D, my 2D drawings, or the concept drawings. I'm not saying that present everything to the client, but whatever little I present, it has to be of that quality and of that stature that the client understands that yes, this requires extra effort and he will pay us for that.
True. I agree with Ankita. You have to give the extra efforts to charge more. Of course, you will do
That's why
more.
you should
You'll
have
do more, but
amazing
first to
influencing power also on the client. You must be able to convince the client that yes, this is your pay packet that you should, and that is what I deserve, and I must be getting it.
Harshita, what Ankita is saying is the presentation is supposed to be strong. If you're convincing, of course, he's not able to see something. But if you're presenting a lot, if you're saying like if you place in that manner, of course, somewhere the client will understand. Okay, there are a lot of efforts with the height and all.
Very subjective.
Yeah, yeah.
It really depends.
Great.
Sometimes we have to go out of way to explain to the client. Sometimes we are not able to submit all the 3Ds and designs and everything to the client in the initial stage. But sometimes if the project is that unique, you have to go out of way and you have to express to the client that this is a unique project and I'm ready to work extra hard on it. I'm going to present to you maybe not everything, but then whatever little I present to the client has to be of that quality and stature so that he easily gets convinced that I am equally motivated to work on the project as much as he is. So that's very important.
Aditya, I think AI will help in this thing. Like, I think AI will help you to create extraordinary images and
I think
visuals
it
for.
has been what she said, that turnaround time, where when it's on a short leash and she has to convince wherever ideation renders are very fast. Mid Journey is already in, Soda is coming in now, Adobe has come up. So image generation, that's what my earlier thought was with the prompting. So she can only make use of it if she's good at prompting, and she has to be that good and she has to know what works. Like she comes up with 10 images, maybe 10 is not helpful to the client. She has to choose which of the 10 is the one which will clinch the deal for her, which will get her the biggest paycheck.
Right.
So I think that's where it'll come in.
Friends, recently we are doing one project in Mumbai. That is one water fountain we have designed. And what we did is we have 3D printed it. So in case whatever the visual you create, but when the grandeur and the detailing comes, so you can use 3D printing also. And this 3D printing model, of course, it is not expected by client that the designer will come with the 3D printed model of interior for my project. So this is where you can again impress them with your detailing and designing and 3D printing. So now these days, many media is there. Of course, AI is there, but at the same time, AI scale and all visualization is little difficult for common people, or maybe a few people can visualize that, but few people can't.
Sir,
But
one thing I think it can come in with 3D printing. Suppose we have complicated models. Model making is almost
3D printing is doing all detailed model. There's no issue
all
at all.
detailed model. When we can get that done, it's easier to explain to the client, say even on site, because automation in construction, I still think for our country is a bit far, at least till now.
See, for landscape, for interior detailing, if something different interior is there, so different kind of things. Yeah, you use 3D printing. I think definitely client will understand better what kind of detailing you are doing. And Ankita is looking at me. Her third next project is definitely it is a 3D printing maybe. Vires, again, give us some idea. What kind of new finishes are more in demand like?
See, the issue with products and finishes are the awareness is still limited. People like you are evolved. You guys want to know new things. The larger fraternity is still not aware of a lot of things. So our purpose now is very clearly that how can we move towards more sustainable product? That's the only agenda we as an organization should. For example, the parliament which we showed. Because of that project, all central government projects are now approved with only water-based and sustainable products to be used. No central government project will be a project which is not sustainable. So those are becoming very in demand. For example, the Indian market right now, only 7 to 8% of the total consumption and finishes is in water-based. That's it. Whereas if we go to Europe now, that's moved to 35 to 40%. But if I will tell you a fact, every year this is doubling in India. So the awareness is becoming much, much more. And people like you guys are encouraging people to use more, encouraging clients to understand. And good thing is clients are also wanting to use a better product. So I think if I have to tell you what finishes are in trend, obviously everything which is much more natural, everything which is much more artistic in nature now. Like you guys all said, everything you design is an art. So those finishes are coming out much, much more in demand, and we've been not able to supply at times. That's how it's happening.
One question from you is whether you can reply or you can say, okay, I'll talk to you later. Are we getting the product which is already in the international market available at par, or we are getting something and next year you'll introduce the new material, new finish at right now? Are we at par with the international market, the product you are offering us, and it is available in the international market?
I will definitely want to answer this because Mr. Agarwal said something in his opening speech that I would like to hear that it's an Indian wood finish. That's what I want to add. We are an Italian wood finish company, which is the first company in the world to get into the Make in India project and set up a replica plant of Italy in India. Everything is made in India now. Our scientists and technologists are from there. We get the raw material from there, but we make everything here so that everything which you see in Salone every year is available in the same month in India. Nothing gets delayed. Earlier, it used to be 6 months to a year. It's now available. So that's the Make in India thing which we did. And I think I would meet Mr. Agarwal later and tell him that this is what's happening.
My one demand from the company is when we will get the country-wise set card, like or the set card which is in the international market and it is not available in India. So you go to the rail card and you select no. We want the set card. Maybe it is a European market. This is the set card available. This is American market. This is a set card available. This is the Indian. This is a set card Asian market. This is a set card available. When we will get that?
So one international standard which we already use in India is the NCS standard. Is the European standard. I think that's the most efficient and the best shade card in the world right now. That's the shade card which we are promoting in India. The other one is by an organization called as Sherwin-Williams. This is the biggest paint company in the world, which actually live, breathe, and eat colors only on their life. So they are the ones which, it's an American-based company. Obviously, they're all over the globe. So there is one shade card which they have, which is not available. And they're the one which promote the color of the year every big Pantone colors we must have heard, but they are the one behind it. So that's the shade card which we're looking at launching next year. But NCS is something which we have already brought in some years now.
All the time when I go abroad, I fill up my bag with the shade card, and that is the objection for my family. So please try to avail the shade cards which is available in European market, maybe in American market. And of course, we want to compare that what we are what we are liking from that shades and all. And it is available in India, of course, now these days. So big thick shade card is available, but the gray is not good.
Yeah,
that is the problem with us.
Well,
Thank you.
definitely
Thank you. Very nice panel. Very nice discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much to everyone, and thank you so much, sir, for conducting a brilliant panel. I would now like to request Captain Edwin Saldana, the Managing Director of Buni Dam, to kindly come on stage and felicitate the esteemed next-gen panelists. Yes, sir. No, no, sir, you must stay. You must stay. We'll be taking a group picture by the end. So, thank you. We'll give it to them. So, excuse me. Okay. I request architect Aditya Brotu Basu from Silvet Studio to kindly come forward. Can we please have a huge round of applause for the panelists? What are you girls doing? I request architect Abhijit Saha from Axis Architecture. It's done. No, Abhijit. Is it? Okay. Okay, so we move on to interior designer and architect Ankita Bed, the founder of Arc and Arts, to please come forward. Okay. Architect Chetan Patel, senior architect and interior designer from Interior Maker. Okay. Architect Harshita Pudar, principal designer from Harshita Pudar and Associates. And Mr. Viresh Malan, chief of sales from ICA. Thank you so much. Can we please have a group picture with everyone? Thank you so much. That was an absolutely brilliant and a thrilling debate. And that wraps up the Design Debate Kolkata edition. And it was an absolute pleasure to have all of you all participate and contribute to make this event a huge success. I thank you all for your patience. You all have been a wonderful audience. And from me and the entire team of ITP Media Group, I'd like to acknowledge and thank our title partner ICA, associate partner LUK, exhibit partner Bunidam and Oriplast. Thank you so much for your support. And of course, I'd like to thank our esteemed audience once again, our guest of honor, our very dear curator and moderator, and all the panelists for taking time to make this event a phenomenal success. It was truly a joy to be able to pick your brains. Kolkata, you've been lovely and hope to see you again soon. Good night.